Hi everyone, and let's continue reading Mahoyo. And this time we're gonna jump straight into chapter chapter 2. Right after the last time we went through the extra chapter, and so some pretty interesting fight between Arisu and the two mechas. Like I'm still a bit surprised that we saw some robots like in the game that was supposed to be about magic in the 80s from all of the time like. But anyway, let's not waste any more time and jump straight to the reading. Little happening of last night, chapter 2. The city is really strange, but a pretty easy place to live. Once you get the hang of it. I mean, if you are a soldier who has gazillion of part-time jobs just to scrap by, yeah, that's an easy place to live in. Search your sight listlessly. You look down in the winter schoolyard, below lost in the thought. December was written on the corner of the chalkboard. Couldn't believe that 10 days had already passed since he transferred to the school. The last vestige of autumn had faded in with the change of the month. The trees were all but barren, and the ground below them a mat of fallen leaves. First period was classics. An elderly teacher stood at the lectern and rambled on. While he had finally gotten used to the classroom, he still had a long way to go to get up to speed in his classes. Like even in the basic understanding most students learn in their earlier scholastic life, it was a battle for Sojourner to keep up. I'm impressed that my guy is at least trying to keep up and not just doodling in his notebook. Even if he was unable to grasp all of the content right away, he at least tried to memorize everything in the hope that he could make use of it down the road. Which is why losing himself in his sports was about the last thing he should have been doing. He would normally chastise himself for daydreaming, but is my guy thinking about his hometown again? Troublingly, he was unable to concentrate in the class today. Sojourner could not place the source of his lack of concentration. It could not have been the winter in the city. It was much milder than in the mountains. Neither was his part-time job particularly tiring. He was not any more physically fatigued than the average student, so that could not be it either. Others might conclude that it was because the courses were boring, but that seemed off the mark though. Sojourner didn't share his classmates' opinions about their classes. On the contrary, he has enjoyed his class time. What's the subject they're studying like? No, his frame of mind was not to blame either. Trying to figure out what was wrong only made him more depressed. What's wrong with me? It's not like me to be so distracted. He scolded himself and turned his attention to the chalkboard. The rhythmic ticks of the chalk were setting him into a slumber, but he somehow managed to resist their lullaby. And yet, he was still unable to focus on the class. So she reflected silently as he was his custom insight inwardly. Deep down, he knew the real source of his agitation. The events of the previous night were the only thing it could be. With the chimmel to signal the end of a class, the teacher reported and exited into the hallway, like. But what happened the previous night, like? I'm pretty sure that the guys that were slashing people around in the town are already disposed of by this point, so what possibly could happen during the previous night? To see him off, the 30 or so students all stood up from their desks. The clock, which had seemed to slow dramatically around 11:30, now struck noon. The tension seemed to fade from the room all at once. The release from a difficult lesson was the start of a lunchtime, the highlight of school life. The high cafeteria was not particularly known for its quality of food. Complaints that the quality was below that of a private school went unheeded. The same unique flavors appeared on the menu each and every day. Private school prices coupled with subpar quality led the majority of students stopped for boxed lunches instead. Surgery class 2C was no exception. The boys muscled Tasmania, destined to resembled a long dining table. Conversely, the girls divided themselves into smaller tables of 2 to 3 desks, to practice ideas, and started chatting within their cliques. Not a single student wasted even a second of their precious lunchtime. Where both sides are differently limited to share a common goal. Suji was struck dumb by the efficiency of the transformation. Even after 10 days, he was unable to keep pace with the rest of the class and remained seated where he had sat during the previous period.
Oi! Kochiko Shizuki!
Hey Shizuki, over here. The voice came from the large makeshift dining table near the window. First, Kinomi was beckoning him over while being back in his chair in a way that looked like he could pull backward in any second. He was regularly shot down by the others in the class who'd been lazy in the class. But his earnest nature kept him from getting on Ivan's bad side. There's something that could be sad for not being so forthcoming all the time too.
飯にしようぜ、飯。
Time is a wasting, that's it. That's some good suggestion there.
俺さ、
I've
昨
got a
日
bunch
店
of
の残り物
leftover
もらいすぎたんだよ。
rolls from yesterday,
春
but
巻きだよ、春
my
巻き。
dad saw
それを
them.
見た親父が
He
さ、
told me I shouldn't
もら
waste
ったもんは
them.
残すなってうる
That's
さ
the
く
only
て
thing
さ。
I have got.
食いもん、春巻きしかねえんだわ。
It seemed his end game was to find someone who might take a pity on him and aid him for something bad. The two of them worked at the same restaurant, so he was one of the few people Soldier knew before starting school. He was also the reason Soldier was able to learn the true meaning of the phrase, can't live with them, can't live without them.
お、いいな。しずきも来いよ。
Yeah,
今日は
Shizuki.
待ちに待った
With you
缶
bought
詰
over
祭り
here,
をすっから
he's
さ。
only awaited again at food festival today.
ついに結婚するのかよ。
That's how crap it
誰か冷静になった方がいいんじゃないのか。実際。
to prefer food to them prefer the canned food over it. So really going through with this, absolutely sure we wanna do this.
バカ、すげ
But
え
you
楽
ask,
しいって
yeah.
きっと。
Sure, the stuff is
そりゃパチモン臭いけ
success
ど
to hell, but
カニ缶
all
と
the
か
canned
食い
crap
放
you
題なん
can
だ
eat.
ぜ。サバ缶じゃなくて。
There's aren't no sardines in the can, dude. The bonus I have never tried The canned crab. For me, the cans is usually the sardines in the can. That's kind of the can I'm thinking about.
マジやった
You're for
俺
real?
も参加するコンビーフは一人一個
Then hell
そ
yeah.
れとも
Count
早
me
い
in.
者勝ち
Is there enough corned beef for everyone? Or is it first time first served? Ah, my bad. Or is it the first come, first served? Once again, my brain is melting under the heat. I mean, from the heat outside. It's just real craziness.
お前な
That's not
一人で
something you
何
can
個も
eat
食えるもんじゃねえぞ
you
あれ
know?
う
Only
ま
have
い
the
の
first
最初の
can
一個だ
tasting
けだ
good.
ってしずきたちが来るなら
Shizuki on the
ノルマは
board,
一人7個に下がるのか
Could be it,
助か
even
るな
7 cans apiece. What a lifesaver.
ところで木の実の弁当の中身
So what's up with your
なんか
lunch, Kinami?
缶詰を
Looks
使った
harder
そうじ
than
ゃ
the
ね
cans. The boys usually pass the time by making fun of each other lunches, but today they were united against the common foe. The one scammer with withdrawals. The pyramid of countless cans stood in the middle of the table. They had all been taken from the pantry of a certain Syrian's house. The expiration date on them had all been scribbled out with a marker.
よし野郎ども各自毎缶切りの用意はいいな
Are we all gonna get food poisoning like them? Alright, lads. Haven't got your can openers?
食べるも地獄残すも地獄我ら5次元目の授業はないものと恐
No
れ
one
ぬ修
likes
羅となり
leftovers,
鉄の
but
悪
this
魔ど
metal
もを
demons
平ら
must be
げ
slain at all costs. Even if it means missing the fifth period.
食材は
Oh,
下町の
a
何
special
でも
thanks
紹
to
介マーケット
sponsors.
中山からの提
Downtown
供です
McRae and Nakayama Market.
バカも
Yeah,
休み休み
baby.
イエーイ
That's it. The boys united as one and hoisted their can openers into the air.
ほらしずきも食べよ
Get
う
up,
ぜ
Shizuki.
缶切りなら
There's
ま
enough
だあ
can
るから
openers to go
さ
around.
いや
I
君
thought
ら
I
の弁
told
当
you
の得意
yesterday
が
that
ごめん
I'm
だっ
not
て
interested
昨
in
日
being
言
your
ったはずだ
taster.
それに
And
その缶
besides,
詰半
at
分
least
以
half
上
of those
賞味期
cans
限切れてるだろ
past the expiration date.
なんだよ釣れねえな
Oh, come on. Live a little. I mean, you live once, so why not to just die from from food poisoning? It's probably worse at if it's you cannot crap from all of the things. Quite an inexpressibly excited group of guys. Their motivation seems to be to spread the pain. To spread the pain. They're just evil. But what about the energy in, or maybe it's a canned crap cult that we are getting into. Conceding defeat, Sushi got up from his seat and joined them. And before he could,
じゃあ私たちが釣り上げようかな
give it a rest. Why don't you?
しずきくんあん
We
な
get
の
them
放っておいて
Shizuki.
一緒
Come
に
at
どう
with us. Another interested party joined the fray. A girl with short but stylish hair had called out to him. She had also tried to get Soshia to join the track and field club several days earlier.
いやそっちも遠慮したいな
Thanks for the offer, but
できる
I would rather not. He answered with a troubled look on his face. On the table was nothing but powder for fruit, Soshia had never seen before.
なんでパパイヤとか嫌い
You like
マ
papayas?
ンゴーもあるし
You
ヤ
have
シの
got
実だってあ
mango
る
and
し
coconut, but
内
if you
緒
want
だけ
something
ど
else,
夕張メロンもあるんだ
and
か
don't
ら
tell anyone, but we even got a Yubari melon. Damn, that's a feast. Not just some expired crap that would make us tear up when we're gonna stomach her for it. The members of the food group palm their fists in unison at their last delicacy, unless it's salsa. Some rotten fruits. I've eaten like crap, like.
待て、なんだヤシの実って。あれ食
Wait,
えるもんなの？
coconuts? I don't even eat those.
あ、マンゴー余ったら回してほしいな。
I mean, you can, but you need to crack them. And that's a bit of a pain in the ass. I would like a manga if you have any extra.
バカ、肉食え肉。そんなんだから貧弱な体してんだぞ、お前ら。
Meat. It's in anything else is just gonna make you weak. Soji couldn't keep a track of all the voices flying across the room.
わかるのは
All I know is that
どっちも破滅的
nothing
だっ
good
て
will
こと
come
だ
out of either of those choices. But well, we have a kinetic novel in front of us. At least we are spared from making this hard choice. If we can sit and enjoy Sujiro's suffering. Muhahaha. That being said, he found it difficult to refuse them outright. His tendency to accept others' goodwill at face value actually left him frozen with indecision. Not accustomed to regular human interaction, he was unable to judge when it was not appropriate to turn someone down. Someone tapped the lost with a lamp on the shoulder.
ほっとけほっとけ。
Remind them.
いちい
You
ち
get
ここの
involved
バ
with
カども
every
に
idiot
付
who
き合ってじゃ
invites you to do
人生
something
台無しだ。
will mess up your whole
適
life.
当に流しとけばい
It's
いん
okay
だ
to turn them down, you know?
ほら、お前らもな、善良な羊を悪の園に引きずり込んでんじゃねえよ。
And you guys, so plan to lead this good soul over to the dark side. To the crab side. In the crab side. 'Cause we're probably gonna shit a ton of this to it. That crappy crap. In a appropriately loud voice echoed throughout the classroom from behind him.
副会長
Vice President, wait, he's a Vice President? Like really? So she turned around to see a boy about a head taller than him. His own hair, while unkempt, had been brushed back, giving it a really swept look. His attractive features really the contempt for the classroom his eyes carried. Unlike the perpetually dopey-looking soldier, he was an extremely attractive boy, capable of captivating anyone who so much as glanced at him. In most cases, such a boy presence would be met with awe and respect. However,
なんだよ、
Oh, look,
副会長様のお
our
出
mighty
まし
Vice
か
President had graciously decided to pay us a visit.
てめえらのバカ顔にはコリゴリだって学食に陣取ってたんじゃなかったのかよ。
I thought you were going to take up residence in the cafeteria, so we wouldn't have to see our stupid faces anymore.
へへへ。
Yeah.
ここは見ての通
Have
り、
you lost your
本
way,
家ど
Your
もが集う
Highness?
貧民街でござい
So
ま
I'm
す
in where
よ
the。commoners
王子はほ
grew
ら
from
A
the
組の綺麗どころとカフェでお茶でもしてればいいじゃない。
course. Shouldn't you be sipping a tea with the babes from Class A?
またしずき呼びに来たのかよ。
Why don't you leave Shizuki
青子
alone?
女子といい、飛び丸殿下といい。
Just like
しず
Aoko
きな
has
んか
it
や
in
ばいこと
for
しちゃったの
him.
か。
Now, His Highness too. What could he have done to have earned the attention of such royalty?
しずきくんは校則違反しないじゃん。
Really? But
ちょっと
Shizuki
そ
is
れ以
such a
外の
good
ルール破るだけで。
goody to shoes. He's never broken any rules. Well, the rules of the school at least.
ってことはやっぱり築地くん
Wait,
青崎に
would
振
be
られてから
that
そっちに走ったって
Tsukiji really switched the teams? What? Teams after Zaki rejected him?
ほう
That was that was some low stuff. Like, I continue to give him a hard time. Sushi could not help but feel sorry for him. Yeah, the guy has a trouble. The class vice president, on the other hand, showed absolutely no reaction whatsoever. But well, at least he doesn't seem to give any crap about it. He laid at them with a bored look and simply raised his voice.
相変わらず無駄に元気があって結構じゃねえか
If
て
we
めえ
should
ら
get some new material.
そんなに活力たぎってんなら冬季
Why
特
don't you
別
spend
製
your
造
time
班
more
にだって
productively for
参加で
once?
きるよ
I
な
happened with special
おい
winter cleaning team. Yeah, you heard me.
今んところ
Only one student
自主
in
的
entire
に申し
school.
出てるのは
That's
全
enough
校
so
で
far.
一人しかいねえんだ
When all of the class see with
2
us,
市
would be
全員
huge
が参加すり
help.
ゃ俺も青崎も
But I guess
肩
you
の
want
荷が
me
下り
and
るって
Saki
も
to
ん
do
なん
all
だ
the
がよ
work. The Benazzi growl in his voice contrasted greatly with the boys' well-constructed looks. Both Team Can and the fruits was the dust like a fire being smothered. This was partly due to the fear of the boy, but mostly due to the fear of the special winter cleaning team. Nobody makes it alive out of special winter cleaning team. That's when you get assigned to this team, you never return in APS. Yes, the special winter cleaning team. Join immense spending part of your winter break and clean up the old school building. In mountains, of course, yeah, that had been neglected by the previous two students' councils. Told you, you just get buried under all this rubbish and nobody would even help you to get out, so. It was a form of legalized torture that people actually ran the whole days of your winter break. And forget about any compensation in the form of extra credits. No, it was pointless volunteer work for student council project. It was practically a miracle that they had found even a single volunteer. Who would volunteer for that? I hope it's not my duty as usual. That would be messed up if they dropped my guy into this.
いや僕らちょっと体弱いん
Sorry,
で
but
スイ
clearly
ートで
not
缶
fit
詰食べて
enough.
ますね
Yeah, that's it. That stuff takes conditioning. We'll just eat our canned food in the corner now, okay?
私たちも貧血気味で
Yeah.
こうやって果物食べてないと死んじゃうっていうか冬休みはもう予定いっ
We
ぱ
don't
い
eat this water well. We will die. That and we already have plans for something. All the students one scaffold away.
よし昼食はやっぱり静かにやらねえとな
That's much better. Lunchtime is best in the silence.
一年坊主の
I'm
教
tired
室
of
より
people complaining that
2
you
年の
guys
教室の方が
make
や
even
か
more
まし
noise
いな
than
ん
the
て苦情
freshman.
い
Get
い
them
加減に
together,
しやがれよ
users.
アホども
The map quickly scurried away. Soji turned to join them, but as he did,
あお前はこっ
hold
ち
on,
だそうしろ
Soji. You're with
ちょい
me.
顔貸せ
The hand on his shoulder had held him in a place.
だよ生徒会応募人んちのテーブルマナーまで指図し
But
て
that's
ほ
the
しくね
student
えよ
council
な
thing they are, anyway. Rushing into our classroom to lecture us on the table in years. Maybe cursed him under his breath to his friends. The second the vice president turned to go.
はあ
What was that?
上
Gillian?
等じゃねえかキノ
Oh, you want to
いいぜ
become our second
お
voucher?
前が記念すべき2人目だ
Perfect.
冬休み
I'll make it the
首
best
を
winter
洗って待
vacation
ってやがれ
we have ever had. The vice president must have heard everything just in the пескинами. Because he gave a thumbs up before aggressively jabbing it in his eyes.
はあ何言ってんですかあいつ
Yo, is this guy for real?
あれ自主的なイベントじゃ
This one, sure,
んいくら副会長だって強制はできないですよね
You gotta force people to do it. Am I right? The problem child of a class C laughed merrily.
そりゃ昨日まで
That
の
was
話だ
yesterday.
会長の提
The
案
school
が
has
学
since
校側に受
accepted
理されてな
the president's proposal
本
that the
日
council
付で
members be able to
生徒
forcibly
会
enlist
役員は
students
強
for
制力のある
participation.
推薦権をもらえたんだよ
Yo, that's a slavery. The legalized one.
特に会
The
長と副会
recommendations
長
by
の
the
推
president
薦
and
は
vice
絶
president
対
are unclad.
拒否した場合
Refusing them
学
means
校側はともか
breaking
く
school rules in
青
addition to
崎が
facing
何するか
Asaki's wrath.
俺に
I
は
shall
止められ
tell
ね
you
えから
now. I won't be
そのつも
able
り
to
でな
stop.
ゲーそれ事実上の死刑
He had
宣
me
告
by
じ
my
ゃん
boss.
生
Yeah.
徒会マジ
This is
応
extortion
募
or blackmail or something. Kinomi's terrified or shaking, continuing behind them as the vice president and social left the classroom.
お前も大変だな
What I'm going to do
宗
with
次
you,
郎
Soju?
あんたも割と
With
暇なんだ
me?
な
Are you busy
副会
with the
長
other things, vice president? The two entered the empty student council room. Inside he hired student council had the use of the rooms. One was a large office specifically made for the student council. The second was an archive room, once used as a preparatory office for math courses. As a lot of the two, the walls were lined with densely packed shelves, making the already cramped room seem even more confined. For this reason, it served more as a private refuge to the student council. The two students sat across from one another. Tobimaru Tsukiji was the son of the chairman of Misaki High School and the vice president of its school council. Like Sergio, he was in his second year. He first met the dance student a week earlier, and the task of looking after him was stamped onto the student council.
副会長はやめろって
I told you to stop
ク
calling
ソ
me
ったれな
that.
話だが
People
俺
may
は
as
所
well
詮
call me the
会長の
President
犬だ
Dark.
からな
The shit I have to take from him. As self-deprecating as his words were, he hardly seemed dissatisfied with the arrangement. He took a snack from his pocket and grimased at it before taking a bite. I had it a calorie energy bar, sacrificed flavor for efficacy, but somehow not enough to prevent him gnawing it like a piece of a jerky.
そうかでも犬は良くないな
It's quite at the
Tobimaru.
face there. I see what you are saying, Tobimaru, but being a dog isn't exactly a good thing. Soju sat in the chair with a concerned look on his face.
あ犬がどうしたって
Ah, what's on with dogs?
犬は良くないって言っ
Dogs
た
aren't good, I mean,
例えが違う気
it's a
が
bad
するし
comparison in the first place, but
何より怖いぞ
dogs are way scary.
なん
You're up in
だ
the mountains and you're still afraid
山
of
奥
the
育ちの
dogs.
くせに犬が怖いのか
そりゃ大抵の
Both
生き
of
物
most
は怖いけ
animals,
ど
but
犬
dogs
は
are in a
別格だ
class of their own.
徒党を組んだ
Pack
野
of
犬ほ
wild
ど始
dogs
末に負えない
is
ものはな
particularly
い
terrifying.
足の速さも
Just
脅威だけど
tenacious as their
何より
fast.
執念深すぎる
Okay, so sure really knows his stuff. Like really, the stuff some wild dogs do is pretty scary. Like I know that some people think they are cute or something, but that Roxas is the same as Kamita. At times is. Is that damn terrible, like. with them attacking kids and and a bunch of other people along with the kids. That's tenacious as they're fast. Basically, every like passerby that tries to get to some place beside this busters around.
坂だろうと
No
追いか
matter
けて
where
くる
you
し
run, they will
最後
chase
の
you
一
as
匹
soon
にな
as
るま
there's
で引か
still
ないんだ
life
ぞ
left in them. I mean, there are some good dogs there, but like, but at least I wouldn't like to meet them in the park. So she opened his lunch as he spoke. Inside the bright green glove, two beautifully made triangular ice balls.
ショックだ。
Would you look at that? Look at what?
ショックって
What do you mean?
何
いや、
Oh, no.
そんなこの世のものとは思えない握り飯を見たのは初めてだ。 思わず。
Is that a good thing or
そ
bad
れ
thing?
どっちなんだ
褒めてるんだよ。
I'm trying to compliment you with that. Sushi was always confounded by phrasing that could be interpreted in multiple ways. Euphemism and subtle sarcasm were often lost on him. It was only on rare occasions like this one that he chose to confirm what was being said. Tobimaru had come to suspect that Sushi had a very black and white way of seeing things.
ところでその固まった小麦粉みたいなの美味しいのか
Say, that's not a hard chunk of flour-looking stuff tastes any good. Sushi stared at the energy bar with a curious look on his face.
まずくはねえが、うま
It's
く
not
も
meant to
ねえ
taste
よ。
good.
まあ、試してみる分には止めねえが。人間、
People shouldn't
何
hold
事も
back
手間暇
when it
惜
comes
し
to
む
the
ようにな
free
っちゃお
praise
しまいだぜ。
desires. Tobimaru quickly finished off his bar, but put another one on the table and grabbed one of Sushi's ice ball. Sushi failed to notice the rudeness of the forced exchange and gave the appropriate energy bar a try.
なんだか
Kinda
土を
tastes
食べ
like
て
a
るみたい
dessert.
だ。
違いない。
Now you get it.
遊びをなくせば人
It's what
生
a
こん
joyless
なもんだっ
existence
て見
tastes
本だ
like.
な。
Out of principle, Sushi labored over his energy bar, vision all the while. He was both curious of unknown and love to leave something unfinished.
今無理に耐え
Of
ら
course,
れ
you
る
have
必
to
要はね
finish
え
it
ぞ。
right now. The whole
そい
point
つの
of
利
it
点は携帯食
is
っ
that
て
you
と
can
ころ
eat
だ
it
からな。
on their own.
素で
And
味気
while
な
the
いが
flavor isn't that
食え
great,
るうちは
it's
味が
just
落ちないのがいい
consistent.
ところだ。まあそっちはともかく。どうだ少しは慣れたか
Anyway, never mind that. I'm getting used to how things work around here.
あ
Yes.
あ飛び丸や青崎
You
が
know,
気を使ってくれているから
Ozaki
ね
have been a huge help. Tobimaru turned his eyes up to the ceiling, unable to handle Sushi's carefree smile. His absent-minded, his absent-minded Sushi might have been, his expressions were nonetheless incredibly earnest. It was like poison, someone as self-absorbed as Tobimaru.
だから青崎は来ねえんだよな。
Now know why Ozaki goes so out of her way to avoid him. He took a bite from the ice bowl to steer himself away from such words. Hey, at least my guy Sojo is a nice one in his own way. Like, though now cold, the ice managed to maintain its freshness. Certainly not Tobimaru.
ん
Huh?
いや待て。
Wait a sec. And one that
気を使って
has
ん
your
のは
back,
俺
you
だけ
know
じゃねえ
that,
か。
right?
青崎なん
Ozaki
て
told you
お前が
that
転
you're
入
annoying
した
to
日
deal
に
with.
彼迷惑だから見張ってての一言だけだぞ。
なんでそこで君
Yes,
が怒
something
るん
to
だ
upset you.
いや
Did you
だ
get
から
that?
だな
The one,
お前が
helping to
学
keep
校に
your
なれ
head
るよ
above water.
陰ながら見
Oh,
守っ
Zaki
てんの
sits
は
in the
俺
student
で
classroom, digging
青
up
崎
dirt
は
on
生徒
other
会室
students.
で全校生徒の弱みを集め
I'm
て
the
る
one
だ
who
けっ
gets
て
lumbered
話
with
だ
the garbage shops.
面
Masha
倒な
gets
苦労してんの
to...
は俺だけじゃねえかって
Well, she gets to play the talent. Tobimaru stopped himself, realizing how ridiculous he sounded. So she, rightly so, knew it was nothing to get this upset over.
まあ
Well, whatever.
いいさ
I'm only
青
here
崎に
because
言いつけ
she
られな
told
き
me
ゃ
to.
こうなることもなかったしな
Yeah, sure.
知ってるか
Do
あ
you
いつ
know?
どうして俺にこんな
Do
役
you
さ
know
せた
why
と
she
思
stuck
う
me with you?
副会長だから
Because you're
だ
the vice president. Tobimaru's head's face went dark.
あのなどうして副会長が転入生一人にかかりっきりにな
Do
ら
you
な
think
くちゃい
it's
けねえ
normal
んだ
for
よ
student council vice president waste all of his time on a single dance for student?
チェ
Whatever,
いい
man.
さ
Asking
機
you
会があ
directly,
ったら青
you
崎
get the
本人に
chance.
聞いてみな
You learn who
あ
she
いつの
really
本
is.
性がわかるからよ
He snatched another bite of the ice ball while mumbling under his breath. There it was again. As grains that were just dry enough to be fresh and tender in the mouth. A morsel that betrayed its humble description, which must have been delicately molded by master chefs and then fuzzily clamped into a ball.
そして何よりこの塩加減
With the right amount of
中の
salt,
具から染み出
the
した厳
subtle
妙な醤油加減は
soy
どうだ
sauce,
食
not
欲を
coming
そ
from
そ
the
るどこ
stand.
ろか
It
脳を
doesn't
食
just
欲だけにするような
whet your appetite. It stimulates the desire centers of your brain and whoa.
飛び丸
Tobimaru,
思ってること
thinking
が
out
口に出てるみたい
loud.
だけど
あいや
It's
それほどのショックだったって
Just
わ
call
け
me
だ
surprised.
なあその字
Hey,
これ
Sonoji,
具はなんだ
what is feeling anyway? It was only natural to inquire about the unexpectedly delicious bite. It had been nibbling around the edges and did not yet reach its center.
ああそれはイナゴ
That would be Grasshopper.
ありえねえ
No way! That's why shocked on his scarf. It assumed that Sosha would prefer earthy ingredients instead of seafood on accounts of his mountain life, but he never expected it would be grasshoppers.
くそ
Damn
食う
it!
前に言えよ
It's a
な
very first,
信じられねえぐらいうまいと思っちまったじゃねえか
Was that delicious?
ああ今のは
Oh,
嘘だ
I
よ
was just joking, Left eyes for a moment.
本当は鮭
It's salmon.
いくらなんでもイナゴはね
Yeah, but never eat a grasshopper.
おう
Alright.
そうだ
Yeah,
よ
I
な
knew that.
いや 安
Of course,
心
it
した
wouldn't be a
い
grasshopper.
くらなんでもイナゴはねえよな
ああこんな都会で身の締まったイナゴが手に入るもんか
Yeah, I mean, you can't find fresh grasshoppers in the city to begin with. But what would Soju do with them if you found at least a couple of them? As curious as the words were, we were decided to let them go.
たく
Gee,
どっちにしても
Soju.
冗談きつ
That's
いぜ
not something to joke about.
危うく吐き出すところだった
Want
じゃ
me
ね
to
えか
curl or something?
らしくねえぞ宗十郎
君が青崎の悪口を言うからだ
Don't say bad things about Azaki then. Huh? Soju closed his eyes as he continued to show on his ice ball. Tobimaru watched incredulously as Soju made an attempt to hide his disapproval.
おい
Okay.
今のはさすがに聞
That
き
I
捨て
can't
なら
let
ねえ
go.
ぞ
Really saying
俺
people
が
taking
青崎
revenge
の
for
悪口を言った
Azaki?
から異種返しをしたとそういうことか
Soju continued chewing. The country boy silent protests, said all that needed to be said. The West Parent suddenly looked like had been struck by lightning.
なんてこったお前
What the?
まさか青崎
Don't
に
tell
惚
me
れてん
you've
の
fallen
か
for Azaki.
そうなのか
You have, haven't
そ
you?
うなんだな
Hey,
おい
ask your question,
眠ってねえ
damn
で起きろ
Tobimaru flew out of his chair and violently shook Soji by the shoulders. Soji opened his eyes.
そうか
I forgot.
お前は
You know
1
what
年前
happened
の
a year
惨劇を
ago?
知らないんだな知ってりゃ
Because if you
そ
did,
んなストレートな破滅願望を持つ
this
こと
path
も
of
なかっ
destruction,
た
my
ろうに
friend.
君の言葉には誤解が
We've
含ま
got
れ
it
てるけ
all
ど
wrong, but
それ
that's
は後
okay.
にする
Tell me what happened a
それ
year
よ
ago
り
first.
1年前の惨劇って
And it's a story time. It's sad story time. Tobimaru regained his composure and sat down after moments thought.
仕方ねえこの手の噂をするのは好きじゃねえんだけどな
Okay, I'm not the one to gossip, but for you I'm making an exception. Okay, I'm gonna predict the story. Once upon a time, there was a guy and he decided to confess to Aoko and shade him alive. And that's the story. Because we all know that Aoko is pure menace when she gets angry. Tobimaru assured himself that it was in Soji's best interest, Yanman to know, but joke aside, it's probably gonna be about his confession to Aoko, isn't it?
あれは
It went
青
down
崎が
that
まだ1年の
Zaki
頃の
was a
話だ
freshman.
あの頃はみんな入学
Tobimaru
したばっ
was
かり
new
で
to high school.
青崎がどんな
Nobody
性
knew
格
what
か
anyone was
誰も
like
知ら
yet.
なかった
To include that.
あいつ
She was a
外
total
見は文句
babe.
なしに美
Let
人
me
だ
just
から
look
な
at her.
そりゃ男ど
The
もは
guys were
狂
crazy
気乱
for
舞した
him.
もんさ
Little did they know that soon after they would go crazy for an entirely different reason.
4月5月
The
は
first couple of
も
months,
う上を下への
this
大
all
騒
descended
ぎだよ
into chaos.
あの時ばかりは上級生も下級生
But
もな
early
かった
on in
な
the year, no one cared about the class hierarchy.
野郎同士の
So
牽
lots of
制
guys were fighting
Kyoto.
themselves over here.
果ては
It was
決闘まで
insane. This
Nah,
isn't
よくも
anywhere
騒い
near
だもん
as
さ
Zaki was next to impossible.
なんで
I
そんな
don't
よくわ
understand
からない事態に
How
な
would
るん
that
だ
happen?
そりゃ青崎は一人きり命知らずな野郎は延べ
Because that's
100人
what
ほどいた
happens
か
when
らだよ
100 guys are like the same girl.
一人一人青崎
You
と
would
ラン
have
チして
taken
も
Aosaki
3ヶ月
months
かかる
just
だ
to
ろ
have a lunch with them all individually.
だから
So
ま
people
ずは
decided to
男同
fight
士で
over
つまんねえ
Fukuoka
暗闘があ
to
ったの
ask you
さ
out.
まあいい
They were all a bunch of losers
わから
if
ね
you
えなら
ask
そ
me.
こは飛ばそう
What happened next is the juicy
所
part.
詮負け犬どもの話だしなでなそ
This
んな
emotion
どう
the
でもいい
conflict
戦いを勝ち残った
after
奴
they
らは
move.
青崎はあれで
Though she might
な
not
んてい
seem
う
like
か
it, she's the
相
one
手
who
の
likes
なけ
to
なし
put
の
it
せ
down.
い
A guy
じゃなく
down
てあ
like
れか
because of
勇
their
気
sincerity or courage or
そういう
whatever.
のを無視できずに認めちまうやつだからな言い寄ってくる相
Then
手
yeah,
を
she
可
rejected
能な
all
限り丁寧に
comments
断
that
ってた
Salati Shikota.
が
There was
中に
one
はそ
guy
れ
who
で勘
couldn't
違
take
いしちまうやつもい
reject.
てよ
Was it you, Tsukiji?
3年のあ
He
る野
was a
郎
third
が
year.
これは脈ありと見て
Never mind.
青崎に何度も言い
He
寄っ
was
た
a
んだ
third
よ
year who just refused to give up. Maybe he was a little bit nuts.
そいつは頭がおかしか
It's
った
hard
ん
to
だ
see it any other
今
way
に
at
して
this
思うと
point.
そうとしか思えん
Recently, Tobimaru decided to gloss over the fact that President was also the former student council president.
学園ばかり
But he
か
didn't keep it up.
青崎の家まで
later
押しかけたそうでな
Later, he started
あまり
following her
にしつこいん
home.
で
Must
青
have
崎
been
も
a
堪忍袋の
glass
緒が切れたんだろ
because Sasaki wicked out.
ちょっと
She said
口
him
にす
back
る
in
の
the
は
waist
は
and
ば
not
かられる方
comfortably
法
beating
で
out
振った
loud.
んだよ結果そいつは自分から他校に
So
転
you
入
didn't
希望
just
したばか
request
り
a
か
transfer.
三崎町からも逃
He
げ出
tucked
しち
tail
まっ
and
て
left Misaki
青崎も
completely.
1ヶ月ばかり
Zaki
自
was
宅謹
sentenced
慎を
to
食
a
らっ
month
た
of house arrest. Whoa, that's how badly she beaten him up. Like.
世に言う血の公会堂事件だ。
It came to be known as a Bloodstown Hall incident.
詳しく知りた
If
け
you
り
could
ゃ
tell you more
本
about it,
人
then I can.
はまずいな。
But I
新
wouldn't
聞組
recommend
でも行け。
asking him.
あそこの部長は命知らずだから聞けば面白がって教えてくれる。
飛び丸、
Tobimaru.
その具体的な表現を声に避けてないか。
仕方ねえだろ。
Hey,
理事長の息子だろうがなんだろうが。
and
怖い
maybe
ものは怖え
the
し。
board chairman's
高
son
校
and
ぐらい
all,
は
but
無事卒業しとか
that
ないと
didn't
な。
scare me even me. And I wanna graduate in one piece.
うちの女子の制
Hope
服
you
見
to
る
freak
た
out
びに
every
規
time
制
I
を
see
上げ
girl
る
in
ト
the
ラウマ
school
なんて
uniform.
持ちたくねえよ。
Tsushut tilted his head to the side in confusion. Tobimaru had lost him with that comment.
まあいい。
Well, whatever.
それより、
Was it
なんで青崎なんかがいいんだよ、
about
宗次郎。
what is it about Aozaki that you like anyway? Oh, that's a good question. Tilted his head again, this time to the other side.
おい、お前、
Wow, you really that
本当に青
for
崎
him?
が好きなのか？単に胸が
Was
ド
it
キドキ
if
言ってるだけな
heart
ら、
bouncing to
そ
present
れは
that
恋じゃなく
could
て
be
恐怖だ
caused
ってオチもあ
by
る
fear,
ぜ。
you know?
いくらそ
Tell
ん
me
な
I'm
字が
stupid
ぼんや
enough
り
to
でも
like you for no good
理由
reason.
ってもんがあるだろう。
Tilted his head even further. What Tobimaru was saying sounded off, but Tsushiro decided not to press the matter. All the more because he found many of his own emotions towards Aozaki to be incomprehensible.
そうだな、おか
It's
しい。
kind of strange, to be honest.
俺はあまり
I
彼
don't
女
even
を
know
知
you
らない
that
のに。
well. That was because they had not really spoken to each other since the day she showed him around. Every time Tsushiro tried to talk to her, she immediately got up and left. As fate would have it, they ended up working together that recent Sunday, but made only idle each other on the way and back.
けど飛び丸、
There's something you don't know
君は知らないだけなんだ。
either, Tobimaru.
時々なんだが、
Sometimes I feel
誰か
someone
の視
is
線を感じて
gazing on
振り
me.
返ってみると、
I turn around to see who
い
it
つ
is.
失敗するかを
She's
心配して
there.
見ている人
Look
が
like
いる。
she's worried about me. That I will miss up.
飛び丸の言う通り、
Not you will say
ただ
she
廊下
just
で俺
happened
を
to
見
see
か
me
け
in
て
the hallway and
単に監視していただけなのかもしれない。
maybe she simply wishes
本
she
当は
could
俺の
ignore
こ
me
となん
when
て
we pass each
気にせず
other.
素通りしたいのかもしれない。けど、
But whatever
ど
the
んな種
reason,
類であれ、
I believe your
彼女の
your
心配
concern
は
is
本物だ。
genuine.
それに、ここが一番大
That's
事だ
the
と
most
思うんだけど、
important thing about all this.
実際の
I
話、
believe that nature of
青
yours
崎の
has
そうい
helped
う
me
ところ
out
のおかげで、
repeatedly.
俺は
So it was measured and sincere. The Tobimaru sighed with a tinge of regret. If not for those words, he could have introduced Soshi to a more suitable girl, with whom he could have lived out the rest of his school days in peace. He never went to such lengths for his other friends. Generally speaking, if it was some of a benefit to him, he was unafraid of exploiting another. If they were for no use, he didn't bother getting involved with them. That was how Tobimaru Tsukiji operated. Tsukiji happened to be the type of person who provided no benefit to Tobimaru, yet somehow sparked in him a desire to help. It wasn't that friendship was completely alien to him. He just didn't have many people he felt that close to. So if Tsukiji had really fallen for Aoko, it was not his place as a friend to try to change his mind.
やれやれ。
Well,
Okay,
I guess it's true that laugh
惚
was
れて
also
るやつには
reason.
理由なんていらねえんだな。
そんなことはない。
I wouldn't say there is
理
no
由なら
reason
一
for
つあ
it.
る。
I can think
彼
of
女を
one
一
at
目見た
least.
ときに、
I thought she was
綺麗だ
beautiful
な
the
って思
moment
っ
I
たぞ。
first laid eyes on her.
ん
Huh? Her shoulders slumped.
なんだあんだけ
I
恥ず
thought
かしい
that's
セリフ
just,
言っといて
you just like her
要
for
は
her
外
looks.
見に惚れてま
Listen
す
to
な。
yourself, so sure.
結局見てくれかよ宗次郎。
綺麗なものに見
It's
とれ
not
る
just
のは
appreciating beauty.
いいことじゃないのか？
From the side.
自分を綺麗
I
に見
think
せる
there's
努力を
anything
してい
wrong
るん
with
だか
just
ら、
judging
外見から
someone by
内
the
面を
physical
判断する
appearance
の
they
は
brought to
そんな
have
おかしな
to
話じゃ
be.
ないと思う。
ん
It sounded like a sophism to Tobimaru, but he had no counterpoint to offer.
しょうがね
Alright,
わかった
I get it.
こ
I'll
の
let it
話はもうや
go.
めよ
It's none of my business who you
う。
go
その
after
字が誰を
anyway.
てめえの女にするか。
No. Tobimaru was mistaken about a major point during this whole conversation. Namely that Sojo was not over heels in love with Aoko and hoped to get steady with her. He merely liked her as a person. Nobody would have foreseen the massive damage that would be caused by this simple misunderstanding.
だがよ、一つだけ忠
I
告
just
しておく
say
ぜ
I got one
宗
piece
次
of
郎
advice for you, Sojo.
青崎は
It's because
喧
Sawazaki
嘩をした
fights with
相手だろう
someone
と別に嫌うわけじゃない。逆
just
に言え
because
ば
she's nice to someone
親
doesn't
切
mean
に
she
したっ
likes
て別
them.
に好かれるわけでもない。いい例が俺だ。
One example of that, he spoke with a pained sigh as if opening old wounds from the past.
そうか
I
詳し
see.
く
What happened?
おう、
Long story short,
昔な、
just be full of yourself.
あいつがあんまりに
in a
独
one
善
side to
的だっ
hit
たん
you.
だ。半年前の
Happened
夏
last
だ。
summer. Now that you've
一
been
年も
working
あいつ
with
と
your
生徒会やっ
engineering
てたもん
council
だか
for
ら
a year that
俺も
at point
女っ
and
つ
saw
う
you
よ
more
り
like a fellow
戦友
soldier
って気になっててな。
and interested than as a girl.
つい勢い
One day I
で
lost my temper
平
and
手打ちを
took
し
a
ようと
swing at
右手
you.
を上げた。
I like to think I have
我なが
got the mean
ら
right
4番バッ
and
ターも角谷という
I
腰の
slacked
ひ
you
ね
pretty
り。
good. So I thought I
確
won
か
the
な
round.
実感とともに俺は勝利を確信したもんさ。
He had a decent look in his eyes as his words tailed off.
翌日になって
The next day when I
こ
came
り
to
ゃ
the
完全に
student
敵扱い
council
された
room,
なと
thought she would be spoiling
覚悟して
for a
生徒
fight.
会室に
She
行っ
was
て
the
み
same
れ
as
ば
always.
で
It's
以来
instant.
あいつと俺は
Tsukiji working
会
together
長と副会長で収まっ
as
て
a
る。
president and the vice president. So she cited his story. Then Sato with absolute confidence.
今の話を総合すると君は単にのろけたいのか
So you just wanted to brag about how close you two are? Really? Is that what Majid gets from the story? Like, Kili had missed the point entirely.
なわけある
Are
か
you kidding me?
今の話のどこに
How
甘酸っぱい要素があんだよ。俺としちゃあいつを女として見なくなった決定的な事件だったんだがね。
なんだ違うのか
Oh, I was mistaken. A look of disappointment flitted across Sojo's face. Tobimaru revised his opinion. Sojo was something of a simpleton, but there was a quality to him that Tobimaru couldn't quite place.
とにかくだ。俺が言いたいのは
Sanders
青
eating
崎
but
青子
normal.
の好き嫌いの基準ってのは普通じゃないってことだ。いいことをす
She
れ
won't
ば
like
好
you
か
for
れ
being
る。
nice to him.
気
But
に入
she
らない
won't
ことを
hate you
すれ
for
ば
being
嫌
mean
わ
to
れる。
her.
っ
That's
て
the
わ
kind
け
of
じゃねえん
princess
だ
she
よ。
is.
あのお姫様は。
So she answered to that. He would keep it in mind as he looked to the clock. He had been talking for a while and lunch was almost over.
もう君からの話はないか
Is there anything else you wanted to discuss?
あ
Huh?
初め
I
か
didn't
ら
have
ね
anything to
えよ。そ
discuss
ん
in
な
the
の。
first place.
うん
I had Tobimaru even brought him here in the first place. Soji tilted his head in a wonder but shook it off to deal with the more pressing matters in the hand.
よしじゃあもう少
Could
し
you
付き
stay
合
a
ってく
little
れ
longer? There's something I
飛び
wanted
丸
to
に聞
ask
きたい
you.
ことがあったんだ
ん
Tobimaru sat up straight, having never seen Soji's face look so serious before. Soji set aside his eyes ball and cleared his throat.
実は昨日
It's about something that
こんなことがあって。
happened yesterday. He spoke solemnly. And as carefully as possible, he recounted what had occurred the night before. Have you finally gonna
し
see
ず
what,
きくんいる
what happened the last night or what? Shizuki, are you in here? It was 10 to 12 and lunchtime was quickly coming to an end. His face popped in the class here, as lively as ever, as if it were an everyday occurrence. Aoko Azaki announced her presence. While Aoko wasn't part of a class here, we didn't let it bother her as she casually entered the classroom. In contrast, The baby birds who had this annoyingly cheap in while eating lunch really quieted and began to arrange their seats.
どういう意味よそれ。
Are they trying to tell me something? She bristled internally before looking around the room. She couldn't see the male student she had come here to find. He hardly stood out, so she thought he might be hidden in a corner somewhere, but that appeared to not be the case.
有里くん、出席番号12番のしずきくん
do
は
you have any idea where Shusuke from seat 12 is? Aoko kept her tone professional.
俺
Wait, me?
し
Shusuke left with his
ずきなら
studies
さっ
at
き
Tobimaru
飛
a while
丸殿下
ago.
が連れて行ったよ。
The boy was shocked that she actually knew his name. One might think that the reason students referred to Tobimaru Tsukiji by a royal title was because he was the chairman's son. But it was because he actually acted like a royalty. In fact, the vice president was said to have taken a liking to the title.
飛び丸が
He's with
あいつ
Tobimaru.
しずきくんと仲いいの
Are they friends or something? Seemed surprised. The class seemed surprised at his surprise.
いいも悪いも
No idea,
築地
but
くんが男子と仲良く話してるのって今まで見たことなかったよ。あ、木の実く
well,
んは
maybe
バカだ
Kinami,
から
but
別だけ
he's
ど。
an idiot. So that hardly counts.
そうだよな。
Yeah.
初めは殿下もあんまり話してなかったけど、3日もしたら楽しそうに口喧嘩してたもんな。
ま、しずき相手に突っ張っても仕方ないじゃん。あいつ変だけどいいやつだし。
Maybe a little odd, but he's a good people.
そうよね。いい人だもんね、宗十郎くん。
Totally, Soju is really nice. When they composed themselves, Class C started chatting again. Aoko listened for a bit before turning around and leaving the class with later. All the Soju talk finished as quickly as it had started. The chef was coming to a close in the student council room. Soju even told his story was smiling in satisfaction. Tobimaru, still sitting across from him, was frowning.
さあ、感想を聞かせてく
What do
れ。
you think? Soju told his yarn as best as he could. Tobimaru fingered his brow as he was angry or concerned.
なあ、そうのじ。お前、人をバカにできるほど器用なやつじゃねえよな。
Sonoji, are you trying to make fun of me? A word of advice. Leave that to us smart people, hmm?
失礼な。
Take that
器用な
back.
方だぞ俺
You're
は。
cleverer than you think. Response only confirmed Tobimaru's suspicions. Had to be one of the possible conclusions. It was Soju just had told him was true. Or that Soju was so tired that he must have been hallucinating at the time. I sincerely hoped it was the latter.
宗十郎、
To be honest,
率
Soju,
直に言って、
you're going
俺は
on
お
me.
前が気に入っている。嘘のない人間
Anybody
な
that
んての
never
は
lies
人間じゃ
really
な
be
い。
considered a human.
俺は人間嫌い
So
だか
for a
ら、
misanthrope like
そ
me,
んなお
I
前
suppose
さ
you
ん
could
が気
say
に入っ
it's
てたりする
easy
ん
to
だが、
like you.
そんな奴までバカげた
But
ことを
if
言
you're
い
gonna
出した
stick
ら、
to your damn story,
俺は
I'm
明日
not
か
sure
ら
what I'm
何
going
を
to do
頼
for
りに
lunch
昼
or
飯を
something
食えばいい
tomorrow.
んだ。
学食で食べればいいんじゃないか
When you just sit in the cafeteria, in his suggestion, Mamar's face darkened.
わかった。
Okay,
はっきり
I'll
言お
spell
う。
it out for you.
それは幻覚だ。
You were hallucinating.
幽霊の
If you still insist you
正
saw
体
a
見た
glass,
りカレーオーバー
I'd
だ
be
っ
more
て
than
やつだろ
happy
うさ。
to introduce you to a good
それでも
psychiatrist.
納得いかないってんなら、いい精神科を紹介してやる。
それが君の感想か。よし。
So,
ならいい
that's
ん
your
だ。
take on it. Good to know. As bitter as Tobimaru's words might have sounded to most, they just swallowed them whole.
そりゃ俺だって神
I
隠しの
forget as
類だ
much
と
it
思った
sounds
よ。
like a tall tale to me too.
けど
I was starting
都
to
会じゃ
wonder
も
if
し
it
かして
was
それ
normal
も
for
あり
that
なのかも
kind
し
of
れない
thing
だ
to
ろ
go
う。
on in the city.
確かめたかったの
So I
はそこ
wanted
な
to
んだ。
hear your opinion. Satisfied, Soju finished off his last ice ball. He neatly folded the cloth.
おい、すると何か
Hold on a second.
お前は都会の人
You didn't
間は
actually
口
think it
から
was
火を
normal
吹
for
いた
people in
り
the city?
腕が伸びたりするの
With
が
fire
普通だと
sent
思ったのか
Like the metaphor upper, did you?
まあ普通じゃないけど
Well, not normal.
特別
As
でも
much
ないん
as
じゃないかと
within
思
the
った
realm
ん
of
だ。
possibility.
ここは山にないものが溢れ
The
てい
city
る。
is full of
何でもあ
extraordinary
りの場
things.
所だ。
And have up in the
だから
mountains.
それぐらいやってのける
I
人だ
thought
って
that might have some
もしかしてい
extraordinary
るのか
people
な
as
と
well. That his face was serious as it was made, Tobimaru realized just how big of a culture shock Soji must have been experiencing. Even up in the mountains with no electricity, in a place where the night sky was as always had been, the humans were just one more organism in nature's garden. It makes sense that those conditions would create a boy like him. The idea of children growing up so pure was an appealing one, but maybe it was natural to forgo civilization when your population was so small. Or perhaps it was so simple, well, that excessive knowledge was deemed irrelevant. It was precisely because city life taught him so much that was impossible up till now, that he had come to the conclusion that anything was possible here.
安心しろ。確かにこっちにはタチの悪い奴らばっかりだけどな。そんな魔法使いみたいな奴はいねえよ。
Relax. They might have a share of shady guys, but none of them are magicians in the disguise.
そうだといいんだけど
I hope you're right. But Soji seemed unsure. On Tobimaru's part, there were things to Soji's story that he found hard to swallow. Either true or not, the incident Soji had described was disturbing.
まあ、事の
For the
真偽
time
という
being,
か、
assume what you
どん
say
な間違いでそう
actually
見えたかは置い
happened.
ておいてだ。結果だけ見れば、
It will ultimately
うち
mean
の
that
生徒が
both
夜
of
の
our
公
school
園で
students
人を
killed
殺した
someone
っ
in
て
the
こと
park
にな
last
る。
night, and that neither
し
of
かも
these
双方を
parties
控えめに
involved
表
were
現しても
normal.
普通じゃね
As a newcomer to the town, Soji assumed that everyone his age was a student in the school, but of worse, he was right.
え。一人は火炎放
One
射
that
器を
was
持って
secret going
もう
forward,
一人は
while the other
まあなん
had
だ
Naginata.
なぎなた
At
でも
this
持ち出した
bladed
のか。
weapon,
刃物
probably
ら
one
しき
that
もの
was
が
a
何
good
メ
few
ートル
feet
も
in
伸びたと
length.
きた。
Soji bobbed his hat up and down as he listened to the disbelief in Tobimaru's voice. He repeated by someone else. Could see how someone might think he was talking them for a ride.
正気を疑うな
Look,
尋常じゃないぞ
crazy.
その話
it really did happen like I said.
宗十郎、お前、実は俺をからかってんだろ。
Give it to me straight, Soji. You're putting my leg, aren't you?
いや全
No,
く
I'm not.
けどま
But I get
都
it.
会にはそんな
He's
人
the
間は
one
い
in
ない
the
んだろ
city who could do that, right?
なら飛び丸の言う通り
If not, I was
夢
probably
でも
just
見てたんだ
just hallucinating
ここの
like
ところ
you
アルバイ
said.
トと試験が重な
Working
って
part-time
強く
while
て
studying for exam have been pretty tiring. The break was just around the corner and the end of the term exams was but a week away. Both were proving formidable opponents for Soji.
俺は基本
I
がで
don't
き
even
てな
know
い
the
から
basics.
人の倍程度の勉強じゃ
So I
追い
need
つけ
to
ない
study twice as hard as
ほら
everyone else.
勉強ばかりしていると
Even with the start
ノイロー
of
ゼをするんだろ
they did nothing but study, right?
そりゃするんじゃなくてなるものだ
I
が。
wouldn't say you're losing it.
ま
You're definitely
何
pushing
にせ
yourself
よ
too hard.
やりすぎ飲
Maybe
みす
cut
ぎは
back
よ
on
く
the
ねえ
work
わ
a bit
な。
until the exams are over.
減らしてはいるんだけどね
I've tried to cut
年
back,
末ってア
but
ルバイ
other
トを
people
休む
take
人も
off
多く
at
て
the end of the
その
year.
代行も頼まれがち
They
だし
often ask me to fill in for their shifts. Shut helplessly. It was obvious from his words that he had been busy. Even if it was him not going crazy, lack of sleep could have caused him to daydream. Even if this all did go down in the middle of the night.
なんだか大変
Don't
そうだ
stop,
な、
Soji.
宗十郎。
ああ
Yeah.
実はかなり
His
参っ
life
て
has
る
been exhausting. Sushi nodded with a pained look on his face. What was strange, however, was that he didn't look the least bit tired.
泣き言言わねえ
I'm
のは
impressed you
感
never
心するけ
complain
どな。
about it. You always look like nothing bothers you at
新郎
all.
は顔に出ないたちか。
Hmm?
そりゃ
Which is because
新郎はどこも
it
痛
isn't
まない
bad
か
enough
ら
to
ね
bother me. As he answered, Sushi looked up at the clock on the wall. The chamber was almost over.
飛び丸時間だ
The time.
お
Really?
ああ、
Is that
もう
late
そんなに
already?
経ったか。気にせず先に行ってていい
You
ぜ。
can go on
俺はまだ用があ
See
る
if
か
the
らよ。
things to do. So she watched us to Tobimaru made a gesture that seemed to lament the life of a civilian council member. This looked as if they were looking at a piece of an art and not understanding its value.
授業をサボれる身分っていう
And
のは
just
羨ましい
you
な。
can skip class whenever you want.
そういうの、飛び丸が嫌いな手抜きじ
You
ゃない
have
の
what he
か。
was stickler for the rules.
そりゃ誤解も甚だしい。
How many times do I
俺の
have to
欠
tell
席
you?
は手抜きじゃねえ。特権ってやつだと言
It's
っ
not
た
skipping
ろ。
when I have got a special permission. The vice president actually defended himself as he stood up. The transfer student merely gazed at him and faced.
おいおい、
Okay.
あれだけ説明したのに全然分かってなかったのか。しょうがねえ。
Oh well.
まず座れ。
Sit down and listen so
いいか
much.
その字。常人を上
There's
回
not
る
a
英気
talent
と
in
幸
black.
運を兼ね
That
備
for
えな
most
が
people,
ら
but I was
座
put
する
in
こ
the
となく
work
精
in.
進してきた俺
But
で
once
も
I leave here,
ここを
on
卒
my
業しちま
own.
えば裸一貫になっちまうんだぞ。
Now do you get that?
ひでえ話だ。
I'm sick of explaining this to people.
てめえの家柄を
My family
活用できんのは
actually
あ
keep
と
me
1
afloat
年
for
ちょい
one
だけなんだ
year.
ぜ。
What about that?
こ
Could
れ
you
の
possibly
一体ど
envy?
こが羨ましいってんだ。普通一生
Just
続
we
く
can
はず
live
の
off my privilege for
親
the
の
entire
七光
lives.
ってやつ
The
が
best I can get is
俺の場合は
previously
たった
years.
3年間しかねえんだからな。となり
So I
ゃ
have to take advantage
有
of
効
what
な
I
うちに
have
使
while
って
I
おかな
have
きゃ
it.
もったいなくておちおち眠ってもいられねえ。ああ
There's a
嫌
pot
だ
of
嫌
having to
だ。
count beans.
何が
There's
嫌
the
かっ
idiots
て
out that
バ
gets
カ
me
どもと
nervous.
ガン首並べて
That
金
was
勘
going
定
to
する
kill
のが
me.
嫌だ。
Maybe alone will
たく
be enough to destroy my
ち
partial
っと渦巻く大
heart.
人の世界じゃ俺のオブラートみたいな心なんてパックリ飲まれて溶けちまうこと受け合いだろうさ。
Well, he must have been joking, so she took his tone to be completely sincere. Yes, it does he envied Tobimaru's ability to be so open about his feelings. From his frame of reference, there was nothing he could do but take Tobimaru for his word. When
あら、そんな権利なんて留年すればいくらでも引き伸ばせる
so
の
looking to
に。
extend your privileges,
なんなら協力してあげましょうか。
school,
この私でよ
I'll
ろ
be
し
more
けれ
than
ば。
happy to arrange that for you. The door for the student council room flew open, pushing away Soshi's half-hearted responses to his friend. The spicy statement destroyed the warmth atmosphere of the room. And it's like you can see the pain on Tsukiji's face. It also marked the abrupt end of Tobimaru Tsukiji's in the
いや、いい。自分の夢
I
は
just meant that our
自分
dreams
の力だけで叶えようと常々思ってるんだ。
そう。
Really?
なら今みたいな恥ずかしいこと力説しないでね。廊下にまで聞こえてたわよ。
My,
副会長さん。
as you could see, I cleared the extra chapter yesterday. Mostly, I didn't expect the extra chapter to have more action than the chapter from the main story. It's kind of funny. Yeah, and why not spend more time on that than this pathetic display? I could hear you all the way from the hallway, Mr. Vice President. With missing a beat, Kawasaki stepped inside the room. So how was the book, by the way? Like, her hair was slightly disheveled as she had been running. Yeah, it's the part, like. He was about to introduce him to some other gala, but Soja just been Soja. It's the philosophy again. I'm probably reading some crazy shit there. Like, her hair was slightly disheveled as she had been running. if you struggle, if you struggle to go just through 10 pages, like. That might be some alien manuscript there. So far it looks like we have Aoka's tsundere here and Sojo just been Sojo. Like. But yeah, I also saw some people talking about that Ice and Sojo are in game for some reason. And I'm not sure what that's all about. You guys missed the city in Sojo entirely and was focused completely on the ranting vice president.
頑張れ、飛丸。
Good luck, Tobimaru. Sojo quietly got up to get back to his classroom. Also, my brain is melting from the heat again. it's 40 degrees outside, man. Like. That's cold, man. Damn, the game just got all the FPS for you. It's a cheating, man. Like. They were grabbed in front of Aoko.
だって時間がない。
It's almost time for class.
だから、そういうのが
You're
白状
just
とか
proving my
な。
point. Yeah, like in the craziest part, it's not even a peak. Because tomorrow it's gonna be something around 45 degrees or a bit more. I'm kidding you not, like it's just pure insanity, man. Like you're just proving my point. He cut himself off, huh? Aoko briefly shifted your gaze to Sojo.
時間がないのは私も同じよ。あなたにはいつも振り回される。
It's not like I have time for this either. You know, it feels like I'm always having to clean up after you. Not a complaint, what's your honest opinion?
なんだ要件は総十郎かよ。
You're here for Sojo.
安心なさい。あなたにもあるから。
Don't worry, I will deal with you next time. Your eyes shimmered with a murderous glare. It was slightly different from the more sullen gaze to which Tobimaru had grown accustomed. For whatever reason, Aoka's motor seemed worse than usual.
しずきくん、あなた、走るのと泳ぐの
Shizuki,
どっちが
which do
好
you
き？
prefer, running or swimming? I would pick running because I kind of like running, but well, I can't swim for my dear life, like. Aoko asked abruptly. Toshio frowned a little before saying he was fine with either one. But my duty is just built different, I guess.
ダメよ。一つにして。
That won't do, pick one.
泳ぐ方かな。
Swimming, I
けど
guess.
どうして？
Why do you ask?
あなたがまだどこの部にも所属してないから。
Yeah, that's the same. If we were on the board of a ship with Yav, we probably would just sound like two pieces of log. But I guess we would list the song together. Even if we would still sung. Because you still haven't joined a club, Second reply. One that left on the room for social subject.
うちの校則読んだわよね。
If read the school
生徒は
regulations,
ただ一人の例外もな
must
く、
participate in the
部
club
活動に
activities.
参加しなくてはならない。正直どうかと
I'm
思
not
う
the biggest
校
fan
則
of
だ
it
けど、
myself, to be
決まり
honest.
は決まり
But
だ
the
か
rule
ら。
is a rule. I mean, this go home club that yes, its doors open for everyone. The best club.
そんな無茶な。悪いけど、そこまでの暇はないんだ。
That's crazy. How could I possibly find the time for that?
でしょうね。
Time indeed. Don't ask my guy to cut one of his jobs out like for the club. That would be a terrible thing to do. Inequality tears response. When she's already forcing him to volunteer for the church. She was typically to the point, but Tobimaru got the impression that she was especially trying to keep her interaction with Soji short. They sat at each other in silence. Are we gonna have a standoff again? Tobimaru stood there breathlessly, silent on the silence until Soji broke at the impasse.
青崎は分かってると思ってた。
I thought your fault people would understand Aozaki.
あ、いや違う。
I mean, of course you do.
だから、そこが強いんだろう
That's
ね。
what makes you strong. Soji stood up from his seat. He walked past Aoko and into the hallway.
それ、明日からでいいんだろ
Do you mind if I start tomorrow?
しずきくんがいいならね。
Would have worse for you, Shizuki. He did his best to force a smile before leaving the student council room. While watching the events play out, Tobimaru found himself deeply impressed with Soji. You could tell from Aoko's behavior that she was trying to get her eyes out of Soji. Soji, on the other hand, didn't react. Heedless of what Aoko was doing, he simply went on his way. To Tobimaru, it was hard to believe that Soji had not taken offense. He just bounced off of the guy, like he's just immune. I kinda can see him just thinking that it's a normal thing for the mages fight each other in the city. Just in its day-to-day occurrence. From his point of view, such a poker face had been the performance of a lifetime.
いや、でも何が強いんだろうな、会長。
The kid has some balls. President looked at Aoko curiously. Aoko stood completely still, staring at the wall.
青崎
Hey, Aozaki. She glitched. Aoko showed no response.
おい、会長青崎
Yo, President.
青子女子
You've to Aozaki.
おい
Come
聞
in.
いてんのかよ青
Come
崎
in.
青子
Lady Aoko, him. I'm talking to you, Aoko Aozaki.
さいはね、青を呼ぶな。
Enough is all what you got. If you echoed across the student council room, it was a beautiful sound that could be heard into the hallway and made Tobimaru sound familiar pale in comparison.
やかましい
Look,
うるせえのは
who's talking
てめえ
in
も
this
同じだ
megaphone? Perhaps his shouting was still ringing in his ears, but he was just the type to answer a shout with a shout. But he shot back reflexively.
そんなんだから男の一人もできねえんだよお前はほら目覚めたか
Nobody can get a boyfriend. Do I have your attention now?
別にあなたの声は聞こえ
Could
てた。
hear you before.
煩わ
You're
し
just
かったから
ignoring
無
because
視して
you were
ただけ
annoying
よ
to。me.
黙らせるの面倒だし。
And I thought it would be easier than getting you to shut up.
てめえな、俺はカカなんかか、おい。
手前マスキータだよ。It would be a good thing if you at least mosquito to him. It means she at least not ignoring you.
コミュニケーションが成立しない点で言えば、あっちのがまだ上品よね。
I kinda hate that I was right with this one.
ほう、その心は
And what exactly is that supposed to mean now?
お互い何を言ってるかわからない。意味のない会話なら、オースみたいなものでしょ。
Talking to you is like going on a date, with pointless activities. Based on that statement, Aoko must have been under the assumption that dating was the act of two lovers whispering nonsense to each other.
問題は、
The question is what the hell?
お前にとって意味のある会話ってのはどの程度の価値かってことだが、いつになくきついじゃないか、青崎。
ちょっとね、今愛嬌を振りまける状況じゃないの。
This isn't exactly the time to make nice.
不思議だ。
When you mentioned that,
青崎の愛嬌なんてものは見たことがないんだが。
About the last 2 years.
飛び丸のいない時に振りまいてたの。
Oh, I'm always civil. Just not when you are in the same room.
そうかよ。
So that's how it is.
あの時のことを恨んでるんだろう。生徒会長さんはよ。
There was only one thing that Tobimaru could be talking about. This is that occurred in the student council room this past summer.
ずいぶんと昔の話じゃないそれ。そんなどうでもいいことに容量を使っちゃもったいないわよ。ただでさえ脳の覚醒部分が少ないのに。
As a conversation wore on, Aoko's murders already began to fade. Your sharp gaze gave way to the camera dimly seen from here. It was quite possible that nobody besides Tobimaru had ever seen this side of you at school before.
ご忠告どうも。俺だってあんなことは忘れてよ。
Thanks for the concern, Psyche. And for the record, it's not like I want to relive it either.
ただ、さっきその字がバカなこと言いやがるから、つい思い出しちゃったんだよ。くそ。考えてみりゃ場所まで一緒じゃねえか。
This is the moment happening. Despite his anxiety, his face betrayed a touch of nostalgia. Aoko, on the other hand, was scowling.
ちょっと待って。
Hold on.
あの話。
You didn't tell him about what happened, did you? Just what the hell she did to that guy on so-called bloody hole town of Hina.
おう、俺がてめえになんで会長になんか立候補したのよ。あんたは副会長って顔でしょ。どう見ても。なんて挑発されて生涯最高の突きをしたところまでな。
In the part where I took the bait and tried my damnness to punch you for it. They're still talking about this one. I call it out a sigh, as I believe that Tobimaru had not all social the rest of the story. And she wasn't sure why.
あれは確かにびっくりするぐらいいい突きだった。思わず体が反応しちゃったもんね。ところで、私そんなこと言ったっけ？
言った。しかも俺が保健室に運ばれたのをこれ幸いと強引に副会長にしやがった。
The boss to tell me you did me a favor by forcing me to be your number 2. Since that day, Tobimaru had served as vice president to the person who had observed the role from him.
いいけどな。
It's fine though.
俺に会長職が合わねえって分かったし、
doesn't suit me
副会長
anyway.
の方が承
I feel
認っ
much
て
more
言
at
われ、
home as the vice president.
会長なんてやってた
Your
ら
job would have probably
危
filled
う
me
く
into
親父
my
みたいな
dad.
野郎になってただろうしよ。
プライド高い分、で
The pet
き
has
る
never
こと
allowed
は
you
全
to
部やるから
do
ね、
less
飛び
than
丸
your
は。
best.
会長職に先進するあまり、 気がついたら優等生になってたあんたも見たかったけど。
You might be a little too comfortable on the student council, though. It makes me wonder how you would have looked as honor student. As I kind of feel like that we have more text on average than in RSK here.
やめてくれ、ゾッとしね。
Like, I don't know, there are plenty of lengthy lines in RSK, but here I feel like it's every single one of them is like that. Don't even go there. Even thinking about it gives me the capes.
猫かぶるのはお前だけで十分だ。
Even one wolf's in the ship's closing around here is about enough, but it probably has something to do with the novel being in VL format. So it kinda is a bit like a book. The mirror showed Aoko way like in the known past. It was a typical example of the crude verbal abuse there, especially on a daily basis. As a witness that only the too long time force I could manage.
で、
A witness.
なんでそんな話したのよ。
So, why did you tell him?
は？
Well, who what?
半年前のここの事件を。
Why did you tell him what happened between you and me?
ああ、そっちか。
Oh, that?
いや、
You just signed to put
あいつがバカなこと口走ったからなんだが。
He stopped himself before he said anymore. He knew better than to let slip the fact that Tsuchi had a thing for Aoko. Even you guys didn't sell each other out like that. Even if it was all into for misunderstanding.
それより、
Anyway,
さっきのは
what the
ない
hell
んじ
was
ゃねえ
that
の
before?
か、
I
青
was
崎。
like,
お前、宗十郎に恨みでもあんの？
that's some guys you have got against Soja.
7日以上前の恨みを引きずるほど、私はお姫様じゃないつもりだけど。
happened over a week before, you know? I wanted to retort that she was more like a queen than a princess. But he would come to know her too well over the past 2 years to get himself into a hole like that.
恨みはないね。
Okay, so
それにしちゃ、
why
恋に
would you
喧
pick
嘩
a
売っ
fight
てた
with
だ
him?
ろ。確かに調子の
He
狂
does
うや
throw
つ
you
だが、
off.
あいつほどいいやつはいねえだろう
He's
に。
not even a evil bone in his body. Why is she looking like this at him?
おい待て。
Whoa.
なんだその足元のシ
Why are you
ロアリ
looking
を
at
見
me
るか
like
のような態度
we
は。
just stepped in each other?
別に。あんたまでそのセリフを言うのかっ
You
て
say that
心底
I'm
から
just
見
thinking
下げ果
that
てただけ
I've
よ。
never met such a despicable person in my life.
まあいっか。いいやつ、いい
Well,
人。
whatever.
結構じゃ
So
ない
he's a good guy.
喧嘩を売る
Makes
相手
him
と
the
しちゃ
perfect
上
person
等
to
だ
pick a
わ。
fight with.
誰も憎んであげないな
Nobody
ら
else would do it.
私ぐらいそうしないとね。
Job falls to me, right? So she said casually, having regained her composure.
しないとねって。
You just can't help yourself, huh? The mirror could not follow her reasoning at all. The mirror was used to Aoko's erratic trains of thoughts, but hating social for no reason seemed needlessly cruel. Everyone is just gonna be mean to the guy, like. His friend's name and innocent face came to mind, and then he blurted it.
けど、宗十郎は青崎が好きなんだぜ。
So Soja taking a
それで
shine
も
to you,
嫌いなのか？
Aosaki. How can you hate him knowing that? Oh crap. Oh crap. His awful silence had lasted not even 2 minutes. The guy is so loud. Like. What I meant was, he tried to read back, but it was too late. She had heard his voice loud and clear. All he could hope for now was that she would take it well.
そりゃそうでしょ。好き嫌いは誰にもあるし。
Because I like what I like and dislike what I don't like.
けどこればかりはね。彼が
Because
私
he
と
wants to
仲
be
良く
friends
したいって
doesn't mean
言
I
って
have
も、
to suddenly like
私は
him.
嫌いなんだから仕方ない。
I mean, yeah, but but why the pro answers the guy? Just because he's Soja or what? Like, Stone. Son called Aoko. Tobimaru found himself filled with indignation at how detached Aoko was being.
いや、そんなお友達感覚の話じゃなくてだな。
Don't you get it? This isn't just about the friendship.
そういう好き嫌いじゃな
I
く
didn't
て、
mean he only
そ
likes
の
you
ちは
there.
本気でお前に惚れ
Believe
てる
me
って
when
言
I
っ
said
たん
that
だよ。
Tsunoji really has a thing for you. Shouted his face at the embodiment of his sincerity. Okay, give him a blunt stare. Okay, my dude Tobimaru is the ultimate shipper there. He's really pushing like Sanoja all the way. It was the face of someone who had lost their wallet always early and was just only realizing it now. The first instant of a doubt was that was just in the reality for the situation, but an instant is all it was.
De?
So what? Really? I mean, it really is stage. So far, I don't see any similarities between Mahoyo and White Album, two out of all the things. Honestly, I'm really surprised to hear that people compare to this to each other in terms of the dynamic between the main cast. Chance really. As if she had no idea why it should matter to her at all.
出ときたか。鬼でもなけりゃ悪魔だな。お前って女は。
Although I haven't seen
よかろう。聞こえなかったのならもう一度言ってやる。
how it's gonna be between Arisen and Sonoja. So what? We were born in a hell. I will assume you didn't hear me and say it again, Soja. To will give up any pretense of masculine solidarity and fall back a heart.
いいわよ、そんなの。つまらないもの。
Don't bother. I couldn't care less. At least I wouldn't say that Aoko is anything like Kazu's. I mean, she is mean, but she's more like mean because she's completely blunt. Should we cut him off? Think of the boys who still harbored an unrequited life arc. We were tried hard to come up with a name befitting the demoness in front of him.
なるほどね。それでさっきの話に結びつくわけだ。
It's kind of interesting, but so far the girl I like in the Vienna is it's not even the main heroine. It's the nun girl from the church that showed up in the extra. I mean, she called herself Hisagaba, I think, but but I know it's not really her. It's not her real name. I would say she's kind of funny.
へえ、柄にもなく友達思いじゃない殿下。
Who could he have thought his highness could be so considerate to his friends? Whoa, that's a smart one.
ってことは、
But
聞
you
く
also
も
told
無
him
罪、
of the
語
nice
るも無
rumors.
情っていう私の噂話、教えてあげたんでしょ。
She laughed us a fiendish smile adorned her face. Tobimaru pointed to her god. Wherever and wherever he or she might be, we were bringing up Aoko's love life.
飛び丸にしちゃ正しい判断ね。褒めてあ
You
げる
did
か
the
ら、
right thing,
どん
Tobimaru.
な話をしたのか
Maybe
聞
a
き
good
たい
little
な、
vice president and tell
私。
me every single thing you told him. She was smiling, but destiny pissed Tobimaru. You were a friend. You a good one or bad one, but you were a friend. The soldier. She was smiling, but Tobimaru wished she'd at least try to hide the bloodlust.
代表作とここでの事件を2つばかり。
Just to finish, Alien. The story you had, you're the most infamous for and what happened in this room. Aoko nodded with satisfaction as she listened to Tobimaru's hesitant answer.
こういう時、噂
Almost
話って
like
便
those
利よね。
can come in handy sometimes.
うるさいのを追っ払ってくれ
You
る
can
か
use
ら。
them cheese off
でも
annoying people.
そんな話を考えなしで広め
Just
た
be
ら
careful
大
about
変だ
what
か
you
ら、
tell, okay?
これからは気をつけてね。
It has been in her writing. The chilly sweet tone of her words could have signed with a heart. Either angry or happy, Ozaki spoke in a disturbingly cute manner when she was in a heightened emotional state. Tobimaru took a note of this new discovery. Read that it did nothing to get him out of the situation.
ああ、俺も命は惜しいからな。口はもう滑らねえよ。
Well, in my life, so I'll shut my mouth.
けどよ、青崎。
But Ozaki,
本気で掃除用が嫌いなのか？
I knew that it was a topic you'd be better off avoiding, but he tried asking anyway. At least the guy has the balls. Plus that again, the bonds between the man at times shine more beautifully than a pearl.
まあ、
Well,
好きじゃないから
might
嫌
not
い
like
っ
him,
て
but
いうわけじゃないけど、
that doesn't mean I hate him.
私が彼のことを嫌う理由は自
I'm
分
not
で
even
も
sure
わから
why I
ない。
feel the way I do.
だからダメなのね。
It's probably
き
the
っと
problem. Perhaps so, like Tobimaru, Aoko paused in contemplation before she answered. Even at the moment, without immediately blurting out a response, meant that not even he could complain.
そうか。まあ、そういうこと
I
なら
guess
しょ
that
うが
makes
ねえか。
sense.
何しろ、綺
Such
麗
a
さっ
emotional
ぱり感
argument
情
can
論
make
だ。
sense.
お互い理由もなく好きと嫌いじゃ、手を貸す隙間もねえわけだし。
Thinking that would be the end of it. Yeah, honestly, I'm not sure what the whole thing this movie is about. If the main thing about the game is the soul, like, what are they supposed to do with it? Like, imagine pulling all the people that would think Mahoyo is about some massive magical fights and making them watch Tobimaru bicker with Aoko for like 5 to 10 minutes of the screen time. I mean, if in the movie. Thinking that would be the end of it, Tobimaru looked up toward the ceiling and silently apologized to Soldier. Yeah, well, Not to mention that I also don't like the designs. It just really feels like Fate 2 all over again. However, his final sentence appeared to have piqued Aoko's interest. It's kind of weird that the table has this this problem with the faces when the faces in the Kimetsu no Yaiba doesn't look in any way similar to the ones from the Fate, but with Mahoyo it's exactly the same that the ones they have in the Fate. His final sentence appeared to have piqued Aoko's interest.
待って、
Wait,
今の
what do you mean by
どういう
that?
意味？
His fox cheer had vanished. For you to pick up on this, Tobimaru answered nonchalantly.
いや、あいつも
Oh,
さ、
nothing. Just that
青崎
Social
に
also
惚れ
said
た理由がわ
wasn't
からな
exactly
い
sure
なん
why
て
he
言いやが
liked
った
you.
な。
Or more like,
ああ、違ったか。
there was no particular
理
reason
由
for
なん
how
てない
he felt,
な
I
んて意
think.
味だったかな。
Tobimaru was still in disbelief that Tsukiji had been charmed by Aoko's appearance. So he purposely left that part out.
理由はないです。
Said he likes me for no reason.
ああ、
Yeah,
なんで。
I mean,
俺がいく
and
ら
told
お
him
前
all
の
about
噂
the
話を
rumors
しても
around
無駄だっ
you.
た。
It had no effect on
天
him
津さえなん
whatsoever.
て言ってたかな。
But he,
あ、そうそう。
did he say again?
理由は
Alright.
どうあれ、
What's going on about
青
how
崎の
genuine
心
you
配は
concern for
本
him
物なん
was?
だとか、
How it really helped
自分
him.
はそれで助かってるとか、
Too mushy for me to
俺
repeat
なん
out
かには言えない
loud.
セリフだったのは確かだね。どうにも。はっきりして
All
ん
can
の
say is
は、
that
他の
like
野
the
郎ど
other
もと違っ
boys,
て、
the rumors didn't face him
噂
in
を
the
聞いても手を引く素振りなんざ
the list.
みじんもなかったってことだけ。
Don't finally notice that Shift now because Demon she was scowling at the wall. She left it in the silence like it was her worst enemy. This continued for several minutes.
何それ？
What the hell is
さっきとい
that?
いそれといい、どこかで聞いたようなことばっかり。
But I can shake the feeling that I have heard all this before somewhere. What the heck? It was here that the gnashing of her teeth was audible. It shall ascend into some higher tsundere form or what? The evolution. The tsundere evolution. The irritation ceased till they reached the point that Aoko forgot that Tobimaru was in the room. Tobimaru looked him in the and brought for forgiveness, suggesting that he had brought further calamity down upon Soju's head.
少しわかったわ。
Kind of
な
get
ん
it
であいつ
now.
が気に食わないの
I
か。
think I know why I don't like him. Tobimaru looked away as to indicate that he would rather not know. But Aoko ignored him and began to gamble anonymously.
あいつ、
The
私
way
が
he
嫌い
acts
な
and
やつと
talks
言
reminds
動
me
が
of
似てる
someone
の
I
よ。
despise. And it could be.
誰彼構わずいい人扱いされるところと
But
か、
nothing seems to
妙
bother
にふ
him.
わふわしてるところと
Maybe
か、
it's
い
how
ちい
good
ち
he is
私の
getting
勘
on
に
my
触るところ
nerves.
とか。
Glancing idly up at the clock, Tobimaru thought that the last part just sounded like misplaced anger. And that was that. 1 o'clock had come and gone. Fine, I get it.
もういい。
So yes, at
この話をし
anything.
た俺が悪かった。で、
So,
俺
you
に
need
言お
me
うって
for
のはなんだ
anything.
よ。
That's just already
言っとくけど
started, you know.
もう授業始まってるぜ。
授業っ
Huh?
て
What do you mean by
何？
class?
いつ？
Where did that?
いや、さっ
The
きそ
ballerina
の字が出
right
てっ
after
たから、
Sonoshi left.
青崎が
Around
ギ
the
ラ
time you
ーン
were
って
busy,
壁睨んでた
you
時
pissed off
に
at the
チャイムが
wall.
鳴ったんだよ。
Tell me.
いいのか、生徒会長。5次元目ばっくれて。
I love to miss if you've spirit. What's that more? Why didn't you say something? She looked like she was on the verge of tears as she shouted and pulled his necktie. Tobimaru raised his hands in the mocks around her. A gesture reserved only for the true victor.
かの方がエレガントなんて言いやがった
I
仕
did this
返
revenge
し
for
だ。
saying I was worse than a mosquito.
思い知るがいい。男の純情を踏みにじったり焼き殺したりするエリート悪魔め。
相変わらず細かな根に持つ男。
You're supposed to
言
be
動
playing
には
soft
言
with
動に返し
insults
なさいよね、
to
卑怯者。
She tightened his necktie around his neck with a yank. President smiled a faggish grin, as if the reaction made his victory that much sweeter.
お前の古典が破滅に向かっているのは周知の事実。そして A 組の5次元目は言うまでもない。藤代のばあさん。青崎のこと嫌ってるしな。
Fujishira had one of the longest tenures at the school. It was only natural she been in charge of teaching the classics.
さあ、こんなところで俺のネクタイを引っ張る余裕があるのなら、急いで自分の教室に立ち返るがいい。情けだ。別に止めはしないよ。
Am I not merciful? Damn it!
あんたなんかに
Well, I can't believe you whole people put one over on me. Just dialogue there. She shot him even harder with his necktie. Asako put words into action and mercilessly signaled time. Tobimaru, he saw his life flash before his eyes. Weird stuff. I'm gonna die. It's too late. You want them to mark you absent. Why my dude is worried about him being absent? He's literally about to die. I'm gonna stop at the clock. It was still only 7 past 1. Her art was from the student council room on the second floor to the class A room on the third floor. I mean, she has enough time to bury the body somewhere. If she ran, she could make it.
命拾ったわね、飛び丸。
I let you leave, Tobimaru, this time. But she will come back. You finish what she started the next time. Aoko clicked her tongue disappointedly. The disturb to Tobimaru was that it didn't sound like an empty threat.
あと放課後、ここにいて。
You have to school.
頼みたいことがあるのは本当なんだから。
I actually do have something I need you to do. To bite his own tongue and die. What she wants him to do. She was halfway out of the room before she even finished her sentence. Finally, all alone, Tobimaru closed the open door, locked it and slumped into a chair. Never a dull moment with Sasaki around, that's for sure. He leaned back in the cake folding chair and let out a sigh. The weather outside was beautiful, but the sunlight waned early in the winter. Before long, the light would fade and the unheated student council room would grow colder and colder. All of the good equipment, like the heater, had ended up in the main office, so he had no choice but to settle in for a chilly afternoon.
こんな天気が続けばいいんだが
If only
ね。
this weather would last.
天気予報じゃ。
From the forecast
また
predicted
雲
the
行き怪しい
clouds.
って話だが。
After his somewhat suggestive monologue, Tobimaru's mind drifted. Riley wondered to himself either Soja was an overcast day or a clear day sort of a guy, but no answer came. I'm kinda not following the chronology there. Does he mean that Soja is is the guy that beats around the bush or not, like, or is that something else? Like, not entirely sure. I think it's maybe the nice place to stop for the day and continue the next time. What do you think? Or maybe we'll keep reading for a bit more. The school day over, Soldier headed straight to his job. Well, the school had approved his jobs at the Chinese restaurant and fish market in Misaki shopping district. There was other work he hadn't mentioned to them. And it was not because he knew that they would complain at him working too many. That's because of the illicit nature of one job in particular. Today, the place was a Pachinko Parlor in front of a Yashirogi station. So he changed out of his school uniform and into Black Fox tuxedo uniform. They're gonna show us the day park. Then began cleaning the storefront. Like he's cleaning the storefront in the freaking tuxedo uniform. Like, come on. Yashirogi was the jewel of Misaki City, a busy place with a vast assortment of commercial centers and shopping arcades. Where there were people in mass, there were products made in mass. Romantic might describe it as a place of enjoy. It is what not the free enterprise, and cynic what point all the garbage. Local authorities have attempted to beautify Yashirogi, but there was one basic tenet of society they couldn't overcome. This establishment was the embodiment of that role. Businesses such as this attracted the dregs of society, and as such the front of the parlor had to be cleaned several times a day. Treasure stood outside in the winter cold, sweeping used up cigarette butts, picking up discarded flyers and tossing empty cans into the trash. Something about it must have reminded him of mountain life, because he cheerfully finished the job with ease. After making sure the storefront was acceptably clean, he turned to the inside of the parlor while it was nice and warm. Lighting lights, deafening sounds, and the oppressive odor of tobacco assaulted him as he passed through the parlor on his way to the office.
店長、外回りの掃
I
除終
finished
わりまし
cleaning
た。
outside.
はいご苦
Good
労
job.
様
I've got something
そ
else
れ
for
でい
you.
いかな
Could you go
2階の
check
40
on
番
the
台のお
customer
客さんの
machine
様
for
子
the
見てきて
on
く
the
れな
second
い
floor for me?
どうも懐に飲んでそうなんだよね
I
あ
have
の
a
お
hunch
姉
you
さ
might
ん
be cheating. His boss was a good-natured man who used to work at that job. Isn't he employed someone like Soldier? Though he was a clearly student, was not because he admired him for working his way through school. It was because of the other employees were scary and intimidating, and he wanted at least one employee who was not.
いいんですか？
Are you sure?
トイレの掃除
Yes,
ま
I
だです
haven't
けど。
cleaned the toilets.
いいのいいの
It's fine, it's fine.
なんかね
Shouldn't security
カメラ
cameras
の
blind
近くにいるん
spot?
でいまいち
Do
確
we
証
have to
取れ
wait
ないの
for him? She's up to no good.
そうちゃん今のところ的中率 100% でしょ
6%
様子見てきてくれないかな
Go check on her, will you? That bound to be some awkward stuff. In that, Soldier put away his clean equipment and headed upstairs. It was a typical large-scale Pachinko Parlor with 2 floors. It prided itself on being a local establishment that was satisfied with taking the locals' money little by little, without resorting to more exploitative means. But regardless of this Parlor's intentions, its customers were not so scrupulous. Among them were casual players, professional gamblers, and cheaters looking to profit by exploiting whatever loopholes they could find. Of particular prevalence was a device developed in the mid-80s that could disrupt machines' circuitry from the outside, making it much easier to get what was called a 777 jackpot. As much as the Parlor wanted to deny this cheater's entry, it needed to present evidence of a cheating is losing the customers, particularly in the service industry. Innocent until proven guilty was not a rule taken lightly. And as a result, they couldn't only punish the customers they caught in the act. Such cheaters were known as a Gatoshi, a class of society which Soji knew nothing about. I think I'm gonna read a bit more, and I also had to debate, so wish you a good night and see you tomorrow, man. And thank you. And thank you for joining me in as well. What he did know was that they were convincing his employer and violating their rules. He went upstairs. The lights in the game machine sounds on the second floor were quieter than the cacophony downstairs. There were 100 game machines on the ground floor and were 80 on the second. While there were some empty seats here and there, it was a solid evening turnout. The machine mentioned by his boss was in the center aisle. Toji nonchalantly leaned back against the wall and watched the customer hit the jackpot over and over again. The second he saw him, his gut told him that she was not cheating. He still was not sure what made someone a master's plan. Finally, but if it meant they were special, this woman certainly fit that description. It was almost as if he could feel black emanating from her. As if the customer looked on, then he turned the handle again and again. She appeared older than Soji. She wore a green form-fitting one-piece dress. A pair of stockings covered her legs. The slender legs were gracefully crossed and elegant suited, appearing better than a casino. The dark reddish hair was cut short in a bob, with framing her stylish spectacles and crimson lips. Just to be told, something was off about this picturesque beauty in the jackpot over and over again. Her boxes were worse of Pachinko balls, sat on her feet, and her winning stick showed no sign of abating. She looked aboard as slender porcelain fingers lifted a long cigarette to her lips. Feels like I've seen her somewhere. Just as that thought crossed his mind, he turned toward the wall and saw her. Suddenly chilled down his spine. He flexibly covered his mouth to keep her from shaking. It's you. Wait, what? The woman from yesterday. Is she a slasher? Acting on pure instinct, Soji took off running. He had to stay downstairs, desperate not to be on the same floor as her. He would have run straight out of the door, but for his obligations to his job. Boss, I'm leaving you early. The person upstairs is fine. Tried to keep his composure as he spoke, jamming his school uniform into paperback as he ran out of the parlor. Cloudy weather brought the shadow of night over Yashirogi as he ran through the shopping arcade out over the station. He shot up the long staircase like an arrow, quickly pulled his train pass from his wallet and passed through the ticket gate. The ticket gate was crowded with people standing around, walking and talking. The station attendant but the automatic ticket machine had an unpleasant look on his face. There was now a familiar, comforting hustle and bustle around him. Did we make it, or is she following us? Just another day in this city. I feel like what he witnessed the night before. Yeah, like, nothing like the night before. And not the same woman once again. Pure. And she might be behind our back. Like, hey dude, I got you there. He got finally brief again. The momentary rush of relief brought him to an abrupt stop. He was turned around. There was no way that dangerous individual could be behind him. Wait, why would I even He couldn't think of a good reason for why he fled so desperately. As fast as he could remember, he hadn't even seen the threat's face long enough to form an opinion about him. So he gave himself a good slap on the cheek to pull himself together and quickly made his way down to the platform. Unfortunately, the save was 10 minutes away and panicking won't do him no favor, so he quietly found an empty seat and sat down. He took another deep breath. He was surrounded by people waiting for the train just like he was. And no sign of anyone pursuing him. His head finally cleared up, and he assured himself that he was overthinking things. Though he was surprised at how heavy his shoulders felt. I'm just tired, I'm sure of it. I know my own body best after all. So I sure cited his greater than expected fatigue. He had certainly struggled since coming down from the mountains, but in that aspect it could have been worse. Physically, he was probably holding up fine. He was much less confident in his mental state. The city in the mountains could have not been more different. He had been slow to recognize the differences and adapt. Acclimatization was simple enough. It must be nothing if not adaptable. Even without any effort, one would learn to adjust over time. Recognizing the challenge had been the hard part. Actually, it's all had been difficult. Surgery grumbled a complaint he had never uttered before. To be honest, he was still afraid to wander around town. There were so many things city people took for granted that Surgery had yet to grasp. It was little wonder that this never-ending chain of surprises would wear on him. Oh, isn't my body that's tired? That would explain the hallucination. He muttered to himself, then shook his head. Which exists. Such was the way of all things. The mayor had called it a hallucination, but Soshi knew that what he saw was real. The city was a magical kingdom compared to the mountains. There were real magicians secretly living here. That should have been no surprise at all. The thought alone made his legs tremble. It took him a moment longer to realize that they were quivering out of fear. He feared the natural ever since he encountered a wild bear on a mountain path as a child. But this is nothing like that. I hadn't skinned my head off back then. So he smiled a little as he recalled his traumatic childhood memory. And he would have found that the sudden appearance of a growling beast that towered over. Yo, that thing is huge. 6 feet tall. The monster in the movie that Sergio saw 2 days ago was the equivalent of a cuddly, soft animal when compared to the wild mountain creatures. He was reminded that he had faced far worse before, and his ordeal now was something he could endure. That's right. The worry now is I heard someone say at the end. What's catch and eliminate supposed to mean? At face value, the meaning was obvious. But the implications were simply too frightening to contemplate seriously. Perhaps he had misheard the words, or perhaps the speaker had misspoke. The law of the city. Someone will deal out a punishment eventually. Even as he said it, they didn't feel quite right, quite real. It was hard to imagine that it applied to him. So he breathed in and closed his eyes. His vision dimmed, putting the illuminated cityscape out of sight and out of mind. For now, he thought to put the last night's events behind him. When he opened his eyes, his breathing had calmed.
それでさ、
I wonder.
青崎を殴り
What
つけ
happened
よ
to
うとして
Tobimaru when he tried to hit
結局どう
Aosaki?
なったんだ？
The question suddenly popped into Soshiro's head. He decided he would ask next time and stood up from his chair. One streak of light blazed by, announcing the arrival of the next train. And we reached the end of the chapter. So I guess it's marks at the end of the stream. So thanks everyone for watching this, and the next time we're gonna continue with let me check it again. Oh, this time we don't have extra chapter, so the next time we're gonna continue with the chapter 3. So thanks everyone for watching this, and stay tuned for the continuation of the story. And ciao.